Hi, welcome back. We're going to be talking now a little bit about why it is that popularity is so important. How come this is something that is affecting us so much when we're young? And how come it's sometimes we seem to think of gravitate toward for the rest of our lives? Well, let's talk about that a little bit. One thing I'm going to point out is the idea that this has become really explained. Have you ever noticed recently of you on the web? There's a lot of information about what's training. When you're on Twitter or when you're just even looking at a news story or anything you see, you sometimes see there's graphics that talk about how many times has a story been tweeted, on how many people have liked it on Facebook or how many comments are there, and often that's right at the top of the story. In fact, even after you're done reading that story, this maybe though it count again. Encouraging you like you should tweet about it. You shouldn't like in on Facebook. Why is that happening? We will think of almost grows contorted to it. Think one of the reasons why this is happening is because it's based on this fundamental premise that if we see that a lot of people are really interested in something, we will think somehow it's good, it's important. We will do what everyone else is doing. Ever if we resist that idea and we think, no, I'm an individual and don't just comfort. Still, we're king of a bit influenced by that we think well. If that's something that other people have liked, that it must be something really important that I need to look at. It's the same thing when you watch a commercial and they say this is the number one movie in the box office. They're really trying to pull on the idea that it's popular and therefore that means it's good. But why does that work so well? Why do we ever care about the fact that everyone else is doing it? I mean, I won't read the news stories that I think are of interest to me, and I don't think my interests are going to be the same as other people that read the same news story. So why would I automatically think that uh, trust important? It turns out that a lot of this might have to do with the way what we believe as aspiration and the way that we can think about that. I've took a step way back and talking about this from a evolutionary perspective. So let's go back to the word of government and really talking about what life was like at that time, because there's hope we develop the brains we have today. Even though that's a long time ago, that's not very long ago from the perspective of your biological development. So there are a lot of ways that what happened back then is still influencing it today, and it's still influencing how our brains work. So have you ever noticed how if you want the of the people around you will want youngs are king of contract cause? Or have you ever heard that when women live together in close quarters or spend a lot of time together, their menstrual pulse will start to synchronize that have to do with the same day here. It's the sense that when we were cave people a long time ago, we could learn that we're going to do a lot better if we will together. And if we think of pay attention to single from each other. So if you think about it, if you went on you off well, you won't have time getting for it. And if you got food and you kill it, something like a green agent will be best of whatever. You're not going to be able to eat all of that all by yourself. So it's really infected, and if you there to save the rest of it's going to spoil and you going to get sick and every lot tyranny you going to be with. Oh, so we really like that when it comes to food, same which safety protected one another. Of when it comes to other ways of coordinating activities, like when should we all go to sleep. That way we can all go to the next part of where no magic goes, so that helps you get to the next part of where we use training to more too. It would be good if there was a synchronized and we were in heart and we linked in to be a heart. And the more you stay in the heart too, the more you sleep when everyone sleeps. That way we can all work together and move together at the same time. The more that everyone stops to give beach or to conquers new bubbles that should all happen at the same time. We should all eat together. We should all protect each other. If you are leaving the herd, the shores think will be trusted. You won't get food and you won't be safe. You won't stop at the same times as other and you need get kitchen. Oh, you need be alone. You need be unique. And that's not good of you. The people that did that, they were with it all drugs, natural selection. We are all the people that separate by learning to pay attention to what the red has to say. It turned out that has have a really cool indelib after all brands are put together. But we just recurrently describing them in ways that we think of didn't even expect. So there have been a lot of recensions that have been interested in understanding how the brain works, and in particular there have been a lot of people that have looked at how the brain think of leaks up in a ephemery, let's say, when we expression pain. So what I mean by that is there have been a lot of studies where they have asked people to lay down in ephemeries. They think of laying there and they show them a screen over their head, and they give them an opportunity to experience some types of study. Now, in some cases, there may be real if stimuli. So will their head is sucking off the ephemery. They need to get a little break of some sort of a painful stimulus, and when that happens, the ephemery won't allow them to see what areas of the brain are king of lifting and up. And what we learning were really reliably for a very long time. We've seen in recent that there are particular areas that tell us that we're experiences pain, and there areas that tell us it's time to start regulating the pain and doing something about it. Now, the part of our brain that signal pain, it really important because the point is always of this the brain's way of telling is sometimes surround is happening, you need to do something about it. This is going to tighten your survival. So pain is king of the most powerful signals that our brains can give us to tell us that if we don't do something soon, we might die or your space might be in trouble. Well, an interesting thing happened. So there were some researchers, including Naomi Essential from Yuka. Wow, they keen to do some studies looking at people in the free making in the magnet, and they asked them to instead of getting real pain, they asked them to participate in some interpretation where they were getting exploded by others. And there was this working was sometimes there were real people that fools were communicating which will they were in the magnet, and sometimes they were just pretend, but isn't why the experiments put it together so the person in the free magnet draws what they were being included and that others were stopping not to interact with them. So is a way it was kind of like they were getting signal saying you're getting kitchen of their heart. Um, you not part the group anymore, you're getting exploded. It turns out they were very surprised to find that when people got the signal to say that they were getting exploded, the part of their brain that lit up were the part of the brain that liked it what when we experience real pressure pain, and this kind of led to the idea that there needed to be something called social pain. We experience social exclusion in the exact same we have be experiencing special pain. In fact, there's ever a recession to say what if you take it alone. The was helps you social pain go down, just like it helps your pressure pain go down. So maybe this is why even the way that we say in English our languages tend to mirror the idea of pain. We talk about hairbrain or homesick. It's the idea that we experience special symptoms from a social experience. So it kind of suggest that there's some way that the lack of popularity makes us experience pain, and our brain is telling us which is most profitable signal. You need to do something about this. Don't get out the heart. Make sure that you are safe. It turns out that this some other research also that has to do with our DNA. This found that this is when more powerful than we even realized. But before we talk about that, I just have to tell you briefly about something that really new and in the idea of epigenetics. Epigenetics is really the thing that we have our DNA, and every single cell in your body has DNA is nucleate. That DNA not every gene is turned on. Some genes turn off later and some genes never turn on. But what we recently learned in epigenetics is that sometimes what makes so turn off certain genes is something that happens in our environment. So believe it or no, someone could walk in the room. They could say hello to you, or they could say something not present to you, that king of reject you, and that will actually affect what happens in you okay. And the reason why this is important is because, as you probably know, many of our scale are dying every second, and new girls are growing every second. So if an experiences happens to uh, and new girls are growing every second. So if express happen to the girl that which start growing to second from now are going to start every long DNA, that's what